from the bottom, ain't no problems, we gon' make a way. Got no coach on the field, but we making plays. Hey, look, don't worry, we gon' be okay. Hey, look, why? Cause we gon' make them pay. We from
Next game. This is gonna be a good one. This is gonna be a good one.
Yeah, it is.
We got Auburn traveling to Arkansas to take on the Razorbacks. Excuse me. This line opened up in favor of Arkansas. If I can find it, -3 right now. That line's at -3.5. The total opened up at 50.5. Right now it's at 53 as a consensus, but it is jumping all over the place. Auburn Tigers 4-2 on the year, 3-3 against the spread for the season, while the Razorbacks are 4-2 this year, 5-1 against the spread, coming off back-to-back losses on the Razorbacks. They lost to Georgia. They got stomped by Georgia 37-0, and they lost a very close shootout game, 52-51 against Ole Miss, while Auburn's coming off a 34-10 loss to Georgia. But the week before, they went into Death Valley and upset LSU 24-19. Touchdown, Louisiana. That's game time. That's game time. So we starting off 1-0 for the week, ladies and gentlemen, with the spread, with Marley taking the spread with the points, and I'm taking the outright money line. I don't know what Vegas was thinking for this one. Anywho, let's get to these Auburn Tigers' actual factions. They're 4-2 straight up in the last 6 games this year, 4-1 against the spread in the last 5 games against Arkansas, 5-0 straight up in the last 5 games against Arkansas. The unders hit 8 out of the last 8 games when Auburn's on the road, and they're 6-3 against the spread in the last 9 games when playing on the road against Arkansas. Razorbacks' actual factuals, they're 5-1 against the spread in the last 6 games. The overs hit 4 out of the last 6. They are 4-2 in the last 6 games as well. They're 7-2 against the spread in the last 9 games when playing at home. 3-6 against the spread when playing in the last 9 games at home against Auburn. 1-6 straight up in the last 7 games when playing against an SEC opponent. Auburn, Arkansas, Marley, how you feel about this one?
Man, Arkansas' schedule has been brutal, bro. They last 3 games. Number 7 Texas A&M, number 2 Georgia, number 17 Mississippi. Then you got.
Let's go back 2 more weeks before that little game. They had to play Texas.
They had to play Texas, number 15 Texas. Now you got Auburn coming in. Just another weekend in the SEC.
Right.
My problem with Auburn is, and this our boy Gambling Graylow, Bo fucking Nix. Like, I just don't trust him. And he actually has played pretty good this season, honestly, especially compared to season past. He's only thrown 1 interception, 6 touchdowns. QBR is 59.7. Not too bad, but still not where I would like it as far as a better is concerned. I like Arkansas here. My only concern is, are they beat up? Like, is Arkansas beat up? They just had a brutal stretch. But you get to go back home, get some home cooking, get your girl, rub up on you a little bit, get a little frat partying going on, stadium rocking today. Coming off 2 back-to-back losses, I think this is where they muster up and get a win. I don't think they're going to lose 3 straight. This Auburn team can't really score to me. I know that yet they average 35 points a game, but those points came against 62 against Alcorn State and 34 against Georgia State. So those are your 2 is what got their averages so high. They scored 10 against Georgia, 24 against LSU, and 20 against Penn State, which is where I think they'll wind up mid to lower 20s. I think Arkansas can give me upper 20s, closer to their average. I don't think they get to the 30s. I'm thinking 27, 21, maybe even 24, 21 last-minute field goal. I like Arkansas. I'm going to take the money line because I'm scared of the 3 points.
All right. Hey man, besides in the 2 losses that Auburn has is against Penn State on the road, Georgia on the road. Other than that, the defense hasn't been playing that bad.
I agree.
Arkansas can't stop a cold, and when you coming off a game like what you just experienced, a shootout game like that, like the question is, how much gas do you have? Now I hear you, they just came back home, but how much gas do they really have?
Yeah, I said they could be beat up. That's part of my worry.
And there were and people and there were a couple of players, especially on the defensive side, that were dropping like flies during that game. So the question is, how much gas do they still have in the tank? Coming off that game.
My question to you is this then, because I agree with what you're saying, but is their defense that bad because of who they just played lately? Because after they beat Texas and A&M, we were talking about how good their defense actually looked and how they held Texas to 21. But then you get Georgia and Ole Miss coming into town. Georgia just beat up on you, and Ole Miss got a hell of an offense. They can score with anybody. So is it their defense is that bad, or is it the schedule they played?
Well, let's think about it. Texas A&M, when they played Texas A&M, they were playing a Texas A&M team that was that quarterback's first start. And
right.
They had issues scoring. You know what I'm saying? And it hasn't just been, that game, but all the games, and they came out and played like they were going against the Super Bowl champs last week against Alabama. As far as holding down the Texas team, well, you're talking about a pretty much a true freshman on the road for the first game. They did look impressive in a couple of these games, but man, that there is a lot of film that you can watch in that Ole Miss game, as far as their defense, what was exposed, and offense. They threw everything at Ole Miss
So let me ask you this. I agree with you what you're saying. Ole Miss got Corral at quarterback, and that's definitely true. It's based on KJ Jefferson, how he plays. Definitely true. I agree with that. What was I saying? Ole Miss's offense. They got Lane Kiffin, Corral, that offense and that design. Do you think Bo Nix can duplicate that, though? You can watch all the film you want, but can Bo Nix make those throws?
I think so. I mean, he's been around for me. Yeah, he makes some boneheaded mistakes, but
some bonehead mistakes.
He knows how to play on the road. Tough environment.
He didn't play bad in Auburn.
He didn't play that bad in Penn State.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I said Auburn, but I meant Penn State. He didn't play that bad at Penn State.
He played pretty good against LSU on the road. So I don't know. I'm really backing this that Auburn has enough athleticism and the defensive side of the ball than
for sure.
Arkansas's. I think if we come down to it, who can get more stops? Arkansas's defense. Who can score more points? Of course, Arkansas.
I can agree with that.
But when we're going back to the film, when we're talking about the film, dude, Browse, he opened up everything just for them 51 points. So there's a lot of film that they can study and look at tape.
I can agree with that. I actually believe Auburn has more athletes and better athletes.
Yeah, because for the last decade they've been bringing in some good recruiting classes.
Right. If this game is in Auburn, I'll take Auburn.
Well, I'm gonna take Auburn right here for the money line. I like the way their defense is playing right now.
I get you. I don't think I'm not even disagreeing with you.
Like Otis is saying, Bo loves to play in big games. Auburn
he just doesn't play. I just don't trust him, Coach.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't trust him either, but I trust him against Arkansas.
I just think this is what I think. I believe your boy Otis is right. It's going to come down to KJ Jefferson and how he plays. I think if he plays well, they win. Right. Because I think he overcomes the talent difference. He makes it because they got speed. They can outrun the Auburn defense if he can throw them open and get them there. And the scheme can beat the defense. They're not going to they can't outpower. They don't have the power and the strength and the size over Auburn. So Auburn can bully them. If Auburn bully them, then they probably lose. But if they let that offense and it turn into a shootout, I think they lose because I don't think they can score.
Okay, well, let's get on to the next game.
Yep.
Like I said, I like Auburn money line, touchdown, Louisiana, easy money, baby.
Touchdown, UL. I got it. Oh, I see that boy doing backflips. That got to be a penalty.
I'm cashing out $1,500, man.
You cannot do that. And nigga start doing backflips in the end zone. You cannot do that.
Check it out. Look, we from the bottom, ain't no problems, we gon' make a way. Got no coach on the field, but we making plays. Hey, look, don't worry, we gon' be okay. Hey, look, why? Cause we gon' make them pay. We from